COVID was probably the single best thing that ever happened to the grocery industry.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it was, the rest of the world was struggling. Grocery industry was rocking. I mean,
Okay.
everybody got to eat. What you got to do? You're stuck in your house
You gotta eat.
for 3 months. What you can do?
All right, if the Lord he be our strength, we'll be all right. If the Lord he be our strength.
I'm hanging out today with my buddy Seth Robin. What's up, Seth?
How you doing?
I'm excited to be here with you, man.
Me too, Stuart.
So Seth owns Benny's Grocery in Opelousas, Louisiana, and we've been friends for, I don't know what, like 3 years?
I'd use that term lightly. Yeah, no, but
Acquaintances.
3 years, yeah.
People, workplace professional acquaintances.
Yeah.
About 3 years, something like that.
so.
It's been good. But you more recently became the owner of Benny's. Is that within like 2 years or so that you bought it?
In 21.
In 21.
May of 21, I was able to purchase it.
That's awesome. So what, like, tell me your story, man. Like, what got you to the point where you are now the owner of the grocery store in Opelousas? Like, how did that happen?
All right, so started working there in 2008. It was for my first real job.
Nice.
Working out as a stocker, bag boy.
How old were you then?
I was 17.
Yeah. So we're talking like first job.
Oh yeah, first job.
That's
First job.
awesome.
Yep. No, so started there. Still in high school. So I graduated high school. Started going to UL in business management.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So still working there through college. Short my way up into management. So there was,
Okay.
So kind of some practical applications I was learning in college. Kind of was able to apply them to the job.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was a good thing. I graduated. The goal was really to move into the oil field, honestly.
Okay.
But the oil field around 2013 was just absolutely awful. So
Okay.
there was nothing available.
Okay. Okay.
So I just hung around the Benny's, and we ended up in 2014. We actually got bought out by another store, Sopranos.
Okay.
So the takeover was a little nerve wracking there for me. We didn't know what was going to happen, But the new owner came in. He was great, and he really allowed us to grow and to do things kind of a new way.
Yeah.
I feel.
Okay.
And worked for him up until 2021, and now he offered for me to buy it, and
Really?
the rest is history.
So you bought it direct from him.
directly from him.
So what was the motivator to buy a grocery store in Opelousas? Like what was the main thing that was driving you to do something like that? Because a lot of folks, let's just be honest about Opelousas. A lot of folks aren't necessarily excited about running businesses around here.
Absolutely. So the first thing is that I knew the business. I'd been doing it for at that point 13 years or so.
Okay.
So I knew the business in forward, backward, side to side. So it was pretty comfortable in what I knew I was able to do there. So as far as in Opelousas goes, I mean, that's home. Opelousas is home to me. It's never frightened me to be part of Opelousas.
So
or
you
anything.
born and raised
in
here.
Opelousas.
Okay. Hometown boy.
Hometown. Opelousas, nothing about Opelousas scares me. It's just that's another day. For
Yeah.
me. So the opportunity to buy. I mean, everybody's got to eat. So it's not like it's a risky business in my mind. Everybody got to eat. So whenever the opportunity presented itself, I jumped on that quick as I could. Like I said, I knew the town, I knew the people, great community.
Yeah.
So it was an easy decision for me to jump into that. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And so you bought the business 2021.
Yep.
So that was like right in the middle of all the COVID stuff going on.
Oh yeah. No, COVID was a challenge.
Yeah.
To say the least.
So I'm sure that did that encourage you to buy it faster, or did that cause things to slow down? Like what happened with all of that?
A little bit of both. There were definitely some challenges we had to work through because of COVID that kind of threw some roadblocks up. Just a lot of things were closed down. You couldn't move as fast as you wanted to get moving. So, So it took a little time, longer than I wanted. I was hoping to actually have it purchased by the end of 2020. It didn't happen. Ended up getting pushed back to May of 21. But that was an eye opener for sure. COVID was probably the single best thing that ever happened to the grocery industry.
Really?
I mean, it was the rest of the world was struggling, grocery industry was rocking. I mean,
Okay.
everybody got to eat. What you got to do? You're stuck in your house
You gotta eat.
for 3 months. What you gonna do? Eat. You know, that's what they did. They ate. So grocery industry was rocking.
Y'all were
during that
smoking.
time.
That's right. Okay.
No
okay.
days off. It was a wild time there. So, but yeah, no, it was a fun challenge, I'll say, and it definitely made me realize how much more important the business of the grocery industry as a whole is.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That's cool, man. So now you've been owning the business for 2 years. You've made some changes. I mean, some obvious visible changes.
Yeah.
Like you got the store looking a lot cleaner than it was. I noticed y'all got new floors. You got your walls and your signage redone. You got what other big plans you got in the future? Anything cool that you can let us know about?
So we still got a little bit more to do as far as aesthetics go. Got a couple more things that we want to do there. The biggest thing I think coming up, hopefully, is a deli remodel.
Nice.
We serve plate lunches, 7 days a week. So it's one of our bigger draws I find for the store, and it's older. It's time for a remodel. So we're working on towards that. So that'll kind of be on the horizon. I don't know when yet. But hopefully within the next year, we'll have that done. So
that's cool,
that's
man.
kind of where we're at.
That's very cool. And do you have like aspirations to make it Benny's into a chain? Like the chain of supermarkets, South Louisiana stores.
I don't know. That's a minute by minute question. You asked me 2 hours ago. I might have said yeah, and then right now I don't know. We'll see. It's really it's really honestly I try to look at it, take a step back every now and then, look at it as a big picture. What does the Lord want me to do? Where do I want to want me to go? Because sometimes you get too focused on what you want to do, and then you turn it back around. It's like, oh man, why are things so bad? It's because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So you gotta try to take a look at it from that point of view, not to rush into anything. So maybe my goal, my thought process always been, no more than 5 stores. But like I said, it's a day-to-day occurrence as far as what I want to do and where I'm going to go. So, we'll see.
That's awesome, man. So you're talking about the Lord, and I've walked in your store recently, and by the front door, for those of y'all that haven't been to Benny's, right by the front door, there's this rack of Bibles that I saw sat up. Probably, what was that, like 3 weeks ago or something that I texted you about that? I was like, hey man, that's pretty cool. So like, you're a Christian.
Yes.
You go to First Baptist Opelousas here. Yes, you've been there forever.
Since I was like 8. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's some longevity for sure. Yeah. So you're working on like bringing your faith into the workplace. So talk to me a little bit about that. Like, what about being a Christian, being a believer, affects the way that you do your work?
Yeah. Well, I'll be honest. We recently challenged at First Baptist to do a better job at reaching out the community around us. Just everybody that we're come encounter with is our mission field. So trying to bring that in the fold of grocery and the grocery store is that people come into us all the time. We have an opportunity there to really at least
everybody's got to eat.
Yeah, everybody's got to eat. So trying to just present them. This area I'd say it's hard pressed to find somebody that doesn't know or had some encounters with the Bible or something in this area, very religious area.
Right.
But
I've noticed the same.
Yeah. But it's more meaningful relationships that I'm hoping that we can kind of at least introduce to the people. So yeah, we've been having a Bible rack up, I'd say probably now for 3-4 months now, 3 months maybe.
Yeah.
And it's going pretty well.
How many would you say you've given away?
I think we're over 1,000.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's really it's mind-boggling how many we've given away. Every time I think, all right, everybody's got one. I mean, we put out more and they keep going, So
that's awesome.
It's pretty interesting. I started putting out some other literatures as well, as far as just some devotionals and things like that.
Yeah.
And those are kind of doing well as well. So,
That's very cool, man. Putting stuff in people's hands is a good way to try that.
My thought is even if 1 or 2 people actually open it and read it, that's a win, So you don't know if they're reading them or not, what they're doing with them, but at least they're taking them and get them in their hands, get them in their house, hopefully. So maybe if they don't, maybe somebody else will pick it up and start reading it. So
that's cool, man. How would you say being a Christian affects the way that you operate the store as a whole?
No, I definitely think you have to, if you're a truly professing Christian, you have to look at everything, the way you treat people every aspect of it, and through the lens of what does God want you to do and how you're supposed to treat people, interact with people. So, I'm not perfect by any means as the way, I still get a little mad sometimes when things don't go my way. But it's taking a step back and just realizing, that's not what God calls us to do at all. So I think that approach, and also not, doing anything unethical, you're not just being forthright with everything that we do.
Right.
I think that's very important. So, I never try to be sneaky or underhanded or anything like that. That's not what I want. I don't want that reputation for me, but also for the store. So, that's a big part of what I try to bring.
That's awesome.
I don't think we always succeed sometimes, but that's the goal that I have set for the store. So
that's very cool. That's very cool. Now, recently, you have also taken a journey into the nonprofit world.
Yes.
So Heaven's Kitchen, brand new nonprofit. What is Heaven's Kitchen? What is it? What are you doing? What is that going on over there?
So Heaven's Kitchen is a 501c3 nonprofit aimed towards helping people in their most vulnerable times. So let's say somebody's already struggling to make ends meet, and then something catastrophic happens, house fire or a death in the family, something like that. That's what we're hoping that we can meet those people. And the way we're going to really fund the needs is we're going to have 4 covered plate sales a year. Every quarter, we're going to have a covered plate sale.
Okay.
And the funds,
covered plate it's like a plate lunch?
Plate lunch, yes.
Plate lunch. Okay, I got it.
Yep. So we'll have 4 of those, one a quarter. And then our board of directors will then choose 2 people a year, 2 beneficiaries a year to help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they can have a challenge, working through that programming on how we're going to select the beneficiaries.
So folks apply, or there's some type of application process or period, and then the board of directors selects different beneficiaries for different reasons.
Correct.
I gotcha.
So we were still working through all the final details. We probably for sure won't have our first sale until the first quarter of 24 is what we're thinking. Give us enough time to plan everything out.
And where would it happen? In the parking lot at Benny's?
We're still working on that. I'm thinking for sure the first one will probably be at Benny's, just because it's centrally located, easy access.
Right.
We have the kitchen there already. So, but going forward, we're kind of open. We don't want to bounce around too much, I don't think, but we definitely leaving our options open to have some different locations, just to meet different people, be able to have other people that maybe can't get to us where they're at.
Yeah.
They can come in and still be able to come pick up plate lunch up. So
yeah, that's awesome. So what inspired you to do something like that? Like what happened that made you think we should do something like this in Opelousas?
Yeah. So to begin, my dad, in 2016 passed away, and he was heavily involved in cooking and different benefits for people.
Yeah.
Fundraising, things like that. So
that's like a South Louisiana thing too, man.
Definitely.
Like everybody's got a jambalaya pot.
Absolutely. So my dad was very instrumental in the reasoning behind this. He that's how he loved on people, by helping them. He lived out his faith by helping people, and then he helped them by cooking. That was one of the big things. So the idea really came from after he passed away, to continue that legacy that he had of cooking and helping others. So that's kind of how it all started. But if you take a step back and just look at everything going on in our area, there's so much of a need. Poverty level here is
crazy high.
Yeah. So, and it's just not, where our goal is not going to be just to throw a Band-Aid on the problem. It's not just going to give somebody a check. That's not what we want. We're also going to have some kind of financial mentorship program that goes along with this.
That's awesome.
So we're going to hopefully be able to mentor people out of some of these situations that they're in. It's so easy to get into a spiral, a downward spiral, just one thing happens after another, and next thing you know, you're struggling, So we're hoping that we can at least lend some insight to you won't be back in the situation in a year,
Right.
So that's kind of where we're at. We want to make it a holistic project, and not just throwing money at a problem. That's not what we want to do.
Right. Man, that's awesome. So you said first quarter of 2024 is when you're looking at having your first sale.
Yes.
Okay, probably somewhere around Benny's.
Yeah.
And then from there, probably halfway through 24, you'd be starting the selection process for different people, or how?
We're still working on that. we're not quite sure yet if we'll have the first selection process 24 or 25, because we want to be able to have enough capital built up that we can impact somebody in a tremendous way. So we'll see how might be the last quarter of 24 before we select anybody.
Yeah.
Or the first quarter of 25, and we'll see. It's just be how well the sale goes. If the first couple go really well, then hopefully we'll have enough that we can really help somebody in the end of 24. But that's where we're going. Our goal is to be impactful contributions to this person. It's not just going to be a little bit. Hopefully, that it's going to be life-changing amounts. That's the goal anyway.
Yeah.
That's why we limited it to 2 instead of 4. So people were like, we should do 4. And like, well, I want to make sure that we're doing impactful changes, not just a little bit here. We can't help everybody, but the ones we do help, we hope we can have impactful, meaningful change in their life, So
that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. So you got a business that's going in Opelousas. You're working on starting a nonprofit. You've been a faithful member at your church for a long time. I put all those 3 things in like the success category of life, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that you've got an opportunity to advise, like there's lots of people who listen to this podcast, lots of different folks who are going to be coming from different walks of life. What would you say would be the piece of advice that you'd want to pass on to them? People who are thinking about trying to make something that lasts, trying to leave something behind in their life. What would you give them as advice from you?
Yeah, I definitely think that you have to be rooted in your faith. I mean, every aspect of life has a way of kind of guiding you in different directions. But if you stay true to your faith, stay true to what the Lord has planned for you, stay in tune with Him, stay rooted in what He wants. That's the biggest thing that I've found. There's so many easy ways to go off down paths that lead you to destruction, So staying true to what He has planned for you, really being in tune with listening to Him, not just talking, but also listening. That's what's really truly has helped me the most in my life, Because I said, there's so many things you can go out and do, and I'll have probably 10 business ideas that I want to go for right now. But I gotta take a step back and say, all right, is this what God wants for me? Because I don't want to go down this road and then look back in 10 years and then say, oh, well, that was miserable 10 years of my life,
Yeah.
So
Right. I understand.
So no, I definitely, the biggest piece of advice I could say is just be true to who you are, but also know who you are in Christ, because that's the most important thing that I've really come across over the last 5 years as I've dived deeper into understanding what He has for me. So
yeah, that's awesome. We're starting to wrap this thing up now, but before we go, you got any big new things coming up at Benny's that you want to share with everybody? Anything news and exciting that's on the docket?
I don't think anything too wild and crazy right now. It's like I said, we got a couple projects we're working on, but they're not ready for prime time.
Not ready for public knowledge.
Yeah. So we'll hold off on those for now.
I gotcha. Okay, well, BennySupermarket.com.
Yes.
If folks are looking for more information in the store. If you haven't been to Benny's, you need to go. That's legit my favorite store to go to in Opelousas.
Thank you.
Great alcohol selection, great meat selection, awesome places to find. That's where we're landing all the time right now. And then Heaven's Kitchen, where would they go to find more information about that?
We're working on a website. It's not up yet, but our Facebook page is live, so you can follow that for all updates and different things, all things Heaven's Kitchen. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be some big things coming on there. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, guys, you've heard it from Seth himself. You can go check out those things at those websites and Facebook pages. Thank you guys so much for listening. Seth, thank you so much for coming out and doing this.
Me, man.
Yeah, man. Super fun. And you guys, will catch y'all in the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Parish Circuit. You can find more on YouTube, anywhere that you find podcasts, or theparishcircuit.com.